week. Here we are at Cook Incorporated with my friend Bob Hamel right here. He is the author of the best-selling book, Bill Cook Story 2, The Revisionary. So we are going to head inside. He has a best-selling book about William Cook, who is the founder of Cook Incorporated, Cook Medical, Cook everywhere.
Cook period.
Cook period. And he has been gracious enough to talk to us this week about his books. So books, more than one. You've done like 13 different books?
Yeah, 13.
13 different books?
Two on Bill.
2 on Bill. And you've been a writer for over 50 years.
I think 100.
100, you think? And you've done this at different newspapers in Indiana.
Yes, several around the state, but the last, almost 50 now.
Yeah.
In Bloomington.
In Bloomington?
I had 40 years at the Herald Times.
Yeah.
Herald Telephone.
Yeah, exactly. And I worked at the Herald Telephone back when you was there doing the sports and sports writing, and so that's been a while.
I started in '66.
Well,
So
I was 2. that was a little before.
I raised a lot of children.
Did you? Did you? Okay, all righty. You've co-authored some books with Bobby Knight, the IU coach.
I did 2 with Bob, and a number about IU basketball.
Wonderful. And you have received some awards, I understand. In '95, you received the highest honor that a basketball writer could get, the Kurt Gowdy Award. Is that right?
Yeah.
Kurt Gowdy?
It is a very nice award, yes.
And you've been selected the top sports writer in Indiana for at least 15 times, if not more.
Some of those things go with age.
Oh, no. And you also was an editor of the Bob Hamel Indiana Basketball Magazine.
Yeah, we put that out a couple of times.
Yeah?
93, 95, I think.
Yeah? Yeah. Just another day at the office?
Middling success. I'm not sure anybody else knew it that it came out other than we did.
Oh, I'm sure they did. And then in '97, you were inducted into the Journalism Hall of Fame, Indiana Journalism Hall of Fame.
That was a very nice honor.
I bet that was really something.
They don't usually think of sports writers as journalists, so
you kind of fooled them there, huh?
It was very nice to con them into that.
Oh, well, that's good. That is good. And, I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg that I had found. I'm sure there's more.
It's been 100 years, there should be.
If not, we're in trouble. Oh, my goodness. So, yes, this is Mr. Bob Hamel. See, the man. He's the man. All right. You ready for this?
I'm ready. You fire away.
All right. So, we mentioned earlier about your Bill Cook books. Tell us a little bit about his life. It's extraordinary.
Well, Bill and I shared 40 years in Bloomington, and really did not know each other beyond the fact that we knew of each other. And if we would run into each other at an event, we'd shake hands, say, "Hi, how you doing?" And that was really a surface thing, because we didn't really know each other.
Yeah.
And then when I had retired from sports writing and was finishing an op-ed career at the agency, and I spoke out here at a Cook luncheon, and afterward Bill came up and talked, and at the time they were doing the hotels and French Baden, and there was in the early construction work, so it was heavy duty stuff going on. He was going back and forth pretty regularly, and he invited me to go along for one of his periodic visits that day, and I couldn't. I had something else that tied me up, so I told him that I'd really enjoy doing that sometime. When next time he was going down by himself, let me know, and I'd like to do that. So that worked out a couple of days later, and he on the way down, he suggested, how would you like to do, the way he phrased it, how'd you like to do my book? And,
Oh, wow.
And I'm a pretty cool, calculating person, and I took a good second and a half for that.
Really? That long? That long.
And I did say, I would like it to be my book.
Oh, yeah.
And even that was, he was driving along, and he reached over with one of those Bill Cook handshakes, and that was our negotiation period. We took care of that. It was all done in about 8.5 seconds.
Well, there you go. There you go. Well, that is pretty neat. So, and then you managed Landon writing his biography. That is just amazing.
But, yeah, that was begun in late September of 2006.
Oh,
And the book came out in 2008. It was done in 2007.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the reason why Mr. Cook died in April 15th, 2011, which essentially was 4 years after the book came out. It was written, that was done. And about a year after his death, Gail Cook called me and said, he did a lot of things his last 4 years. What would you think of going back into the book and adding a couple of chapters to cover those things? And I was thinking in terms of an epilogue or something of that nature.
Sure, sure.
So that's when that began, and then the more I got into it, the more I could see how correct she was, that he had done a lot of things his last 4 years. And rather than turning the first book into just an unwieldy long thing, it made sense to just make a second separate one, and that allowed us to do a lot more in terms of photos, that kind of thing.
Sure.
It's a companion book designed to be exactly the same size, exactly they fit together on a bookshelf, and it's IU Press did both books, and my goodness, I can't overstate how beautiful job they did on this second one, which is more pictures. It wouldn't have lent itself to the beauty, and
absolutely.
they were both well designed. I don't mean any criticism of the first one, but the second one is just kind of spectacularly colorful.
Yes,
because of the amount of photography in it, and it's beautifully reproduced. They did a spectacular job of that. But it was fun doing, but it also is a very sentimental thing. And
I'm sure.
During the telling of the story, obviously Mr. Cook dies, and that is not a pleasant situation.
That's never a pleasant.
Of course.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean that was really. Mr. Cook and his wife thought a lot of you, to have you write.
Well, they honored me a lot by doing it, because, and you're right in phrasing it that way, because I think Gail was very much part of the. Well, she certainly was part of the beginning of the company, and the growth of the company, but also the whole book idea. My suspicion is that Bill wouldn't have been inclined to shine the spotlight on himself, but Gail might have told him that it's about time something got done that way.
I'm sure she said, you have to do this, Yeah, I was never fortunate enough to meet either one of them,
Yeah, they're terrific people.
And but I've heard a lot of good stories, and
there's so much evidence of how good of people they are. But in Bloomington and Indiana, the projects they've taken on, and goodness, the two hotels are just phenomenal.
So tell us a little bit about the stuff that they restore. I understand that they loved to do that.
Yeah, they do have a great. Together, they had this great faculty for seeing what could be done to bring something old back, but also bring it back to life, not just bring it back as a visual
Oh, yeah.
reproduction of what was there once before. But at Beck's Mill near Salem, for example, it's a functioning mill again. It was out of business for about 100 years.
Now, isn't that's in the second book, Pictures of That Mill?
That is the second book, right?
Yeah.
And that was one of those projects that she mentioned that he'd done after he.
Yeah.
The primary thing that is the heart of the second book is what he did back in his hometown of Canton, Illinois, which is a marvelous story because Canton was a town a little bit, well, it's quite a bit smaller than Bloomington, probably more like Bedford and Martinsville in size. But forever, from 1840 on, that town had as its hub a plow manufacturing.
Really?
A local blacksmith designed a plow that was self-cleaning, and then it became the plow for the world. They were selling out of Canton, Illinois, over near Peoria on the far west side of Illinois. They were selling out of that little town all over the world in the 1800s.
Wow!
They were shipping down by river and by boat to Europe and around. And that plant became Canton. That was everybody in Canton lived there, or worked there. They either were involved with the manufacturing or in the production or in the management, but everybody. It was Canton.
Now, didn't that turn into Harvester, International Harvester?
In 1920, the families that began the company had run out of heirs, and the prudent thing seemed to be to turn it over to International Harvester, which had every other kind of farm. It's kind of gone around plows because Canton owned that market, and so they added that, and it was a very, very happy combination for over 60 years. But in the early 1980s, Harvester pulled out and closed that plant. Well, it just was a death blow to the town of Canton. Because
absolutely.
Those people. It was the hierarchy of the whole community was right there. And all of a sudden they were moved out, and so they lost not only their numbers, but also the key people in the community, and it became a very dark period for the town of Canton. And then about 10 years after they left, the place burned. So that it became a really ugly situation right downtown. This huge factory that covered essentially a couple of square blocks was just a very ugly
ice
brown field where it was contaminated. They couldn't build anything there, and it was right downtown. So the town was kind of frozen in what it could do.
Oh, I'm sure.
They couldn't bring anybody in. They couldn't attract
they
anybody.
couldn't build anything.
The people were leaving, and the town was just dying. And what Bill did, and he loved that town.
Oh,
He'd really always maintained a feeling for that town. So we went over and looked at the downtown area, which was withered and dying, and took one of the buildings that dated to the 1890s. That was the heart of the square, and in a very similar fashion to what he did in Bloomington.
On the square,
took a point and rebuilt this old structure that was decaying and really in bad shape. Made it into a first-class building again with businesses downstairs on the street level. And then went to another corner of the square and worked on a shopping center, and he eventually built a hotel on another corner of the square. And meanwhile, with all this happening, the other shop owners could see that there was something new going on here, and they put some of their own money into
to spruce up theirs.
And suddenly the town was back and breathing again, and anyway, it was just a remarkable transfusion for that community that all dated to one man's love for that town.
And that's just amazing.
It's really a neat part of the story of that in that book.
And so these projects, I'm sure, have impacted the community, as you said, 100 times over.
Boy, you look at Bloomington. Look at downtown Bloomington. Compare downtown Bloomington with almost any other Indiana downtown. Any other courthouse square, that kind of thing.
And there's really no comparison.
No, it is, and because Bill Cook Bill and Gail Cook put some time into and money into revitalizing it, and had that vision, and that's Bloomington people would recognize Canton because it's a similar situation.
And it looks similar. Wow, it's just amazing that out of his mind and his imagination and his love for, the place and the people.
That's the point of the working title of the book, The Revisionary.
The Revisionary.
Because we'd always seen Bill as a visionary. He could see things and things that the rest of us can't see.
Yeah, this building.
But he had this extra gift of being able to look at an old building and see what it could be today. And then Tina Connor from the Indiana Landmarks in Indianapolis is involved with these preservation projects. Made the comment that he would see how he could bring a building back, but with today's elevators, today's it's functioning in a modern time with the grand old look. And there's no better example of that than the two hotels.
French Lick and West Baden.
They are just grand old structures.
They are gorgeous.
They're beautiful
they're
places.
Gorgeous. Oh my gosh. And you just go in there and you seem sometimes transported back in time, but yet it's modern.
Like you're feeling you're driving down a cornfield and all of a sudden you see the Taj Mahal. Exactly. And it's European splendor that's back over right truly into the cornfields of Indiana.
Oh, absolutely.
Anybody from Indiana who hasn't gone down and seen those things is really missing something, because that is a spectacular piece of scenery.
Absolutely. And it's not that far away. You can make a day trip out of it. It's an hour away.
It's a full hour.
At least a full hour.
Maybe an hour 15. But it's very definitely worth the trip.
Oh yeah. They are just they're magnificent. Magnificent.
We just had this situation over the weekend with the senior PGA golf tournament at the new course. It was part of this whole resort project.
Right.
And that course is Pete Dye course at French Lick is that's another excuse me a spectacular thing that you can't expect in rural Indiana. That's on a course level with places like the Masters. It's a gorgeous, spectacular layout in one of the highest points of Indiana, and the scenery out you see for miles. 30 miles. So it's just great. and I noticed I was down at the tournament, and I noticed for a 360-degree horizon, it's all trees. It's you don't see prairie or anything out there. All the way around, it's greenery.
Wow.
It's just another example of what of a miracle that Bill Cook and Gail and the Cook operations left behind.
Well, time is just flying, and what can we take away from Mr. Cook's life and business sense? I know he had a gift. Do you think he had a gift? Or?
I made the comment that in the first book, I think Bill went from nothing to fabulous wealth, and didn't change one iota. But he and Gail remained the same people they were when they didn't have money, once they did have it. And to that degree, and the way he handled all those things, I think in that first book he showed us how to live. In this book, here's a man who knows he's dying, and it's a painful death. And still, at a time when I think most of us would especially if we were as wealthy as he was, would just kind of retract and that's it,
be a recluse
and pull away from everything, and instead he's creating and envisioning and right up to the very end. He died on the day before his last project was dedicated. I mean, he was still checking that thing out on Tuesday of the week that he died on Friday.
Oh my gosh!
And it's just astonishing what he was able to accomplish right up to the end, literally right up to the very end.
It's just amazing, just amazing. So, if there was one word or one sentence that could sum up Bill and Gail Cook, what would that be?
Well, I suppose it would be my version of humanitarian, because they showed us humanity.
Absolutely.
They actually never flawed into anything, and always were able to think of other people, and instead of being self-centered. And I'm not sure how I would handle wealth like that, but I know how they have, and it's very admirable.
That is just amazing, and your words about them, and you could tell the genuine love that you have for both of them, and respect, and it's just, and them for you. Well, they honored me. I was letting me tell those stories, because Gail was very, very cooperative through both books, and I know that's not her anymore. Her inclination to essentially tell family secrets. I think she's guarded in what she wants to let out, and as we all are. Sure, absolutely.
But I think she recognized that for these to be informative books, that she couldn't have been more cooperative, and neither could have Bill. It was fun. It was right. Bill would come. Bill gave me this office just so I could operate in here to get going on that, and then he would come down and sit right across that desk, and we'd lay a tape recorder in between us, and just talk.
And just
it wasn't. I've got a whole desk full of tapes down here that I would go to the Cook archives one of these days.
There you go.
It's just a conversation. It isn't classic interviewing by any means. Maybe the reason for that is that I'm not capable of it.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
I can really converse.
As we see here. Well, I appreciate all your time and giving me 5 minutes and talking about your book and just being with us on the show.
Well, I appreciate you coming, Emma. Thank you.
Thanks. That will do it for this edition of On the Inside, and I hope you enjoyed this reminiscing about Bob's friend Bill Cook, the legendary, the wonderful Mr. Bill Cook and his lovely wife Gail. Till next time, with Bob Hamel, we'll see you.